So as of recording this, a couple days ago, a new rap album got dropped, a collaborative one between two absolute titans of the rap game in Future and Metro Boomin. Both of these guys have done extensive stuff in modern hip hop and trap music with each other, just with the work stuff. Future is just this huge pioneer for a lot of these modern rappers and that stuff. Has put out a lot of good albums there. And Metro Boomin, he's been featured as a producer on so many different songs, artists, soundtracks even. He's worked with guys like obviously Future, 21 Savage, The Weeknd, Migos, and then he did the soundtrack for Across the Spider-Verse, which that one I thought was amazing, and has just been upping his game with like different production styles using like synth work, some different string stuff that's like dark ambience that I'm a huge fan of, and I've always kind of liked what he does with that stuff. And I was definitely a bit worried when I saw this album got announced because while I do like Metro Boomin's just production style and that stuff, he does a lot of stuff in 1 year. So we don't really know whether you're gonna get like his top shit or some of that like kind of medium shit, I guess is the best way to put it. And I'll say this, my worries, I don't need to really worry because this album was actually pretty good. Just down from these two just like work so well together, and you can definitely tell that they definitely, I don't know, they just like fit together very well for this collaborative album. It's kind of a longer album, not which seems to be like a new trend with rap albums recently, as in the past couple of years, is having just long track lists. I can't tell you why right now, but I don't know. It doesn't always work that well, and I think that we'll just go with like one of the issues of it is, and it's one that I'm not alone in thinking it. A lot of people have said it, but it kind of gets to me a bit. Is just the album is so kind of like quiet at so many different parts of it, and that's kind of bothersome because there's like different production styles, different songs that are like going so hard of that, and then you're like, man, if this was at least had a bit more energy in it, oh my god, just like this would go so hard, it would be crazy, it'd be amazing. But I don't know if it's just like Futures. He has a very like not monotone, but a low register voice that just doesn't work well on every single song, which he doesn't vary up or change it. And then obviously with him, he does have some like repetitive lines quite often in the songs, which the good news about it is he is very good at making them very catchy, and they will stay in your head. So it works in that sense of it, but it doesn't always land. But for the most part, he does hit pretty well with that. The features, for the most part, I was a big fan. I was a big fan of the Kendrick Lamar one. We'll talk about that one in a second. The Travis Scott one. I didn't. The Travis Scott one was pretty good. It wasn't my favorite on Cinderella, but as far as Travis Scott features go, I can't really complain here of that. It worked pretty well. And then just another thing we'll go to, and this is more on Metro Boomin, his just ability to have these really good beat switches and these like flows into different songs is so good that like I think I listened through like first time listening to this in like one of my classes a day. I literally went through like three of the songs just because I thought it was all going together that, and it was really cool to see that. But still continue on features just to try and like lump it all together. Was not a fan of the Playboy Cardi one, and I know a lot of people seem to have liked that. I don't. I'm gonna be honest, and this is a really hot take that I know a lot of people don't like. I don't really like Playboy Cardi. I think he's not as good as everyone seems to say. I didn't like Whole Lotta Red. I think he's got a very how do I put this, like middle school boy voice, like that I don't understand the appeal to of it, where he's like 27, looks 35, sounds 12. If that's what you want to listen to, I get it. I think it's honestly not the best. And for Future in the song as well, obviously, who I think he can get overshadowed a lot by guys like Kendrick and Travis. He looked like an absolute titan compared to Playboy Cardi on this song, and Playboy Cardi played into the thing of trying to continue to make very repetitive lines in there that aren't as catchy as Future, and that's a huge problem on there. Where I'm like, man, Future did a lot better on that song than Playboi Carti. So that, I don't know, not my favorite on there, but it wasn't horrible. I guess you could say that. And then I guess just a following of this, I did like Future's kind of lyrics and wordplay on certain songs, like on Claustrophobic, which I'll talk about that in a second. That one, it actually it made me laugh with one of the lines where he's basically insinuating that he's feeling claustrophobic, so he needs to buy another mansion, which I think that's just kind of funny of like this hedonistic kind of lifestyle that which Future is very well known for, and he plays into it very well, and it makes into some like just kind of funny jokes with that I think landed pretty good of that. And then I think just mixing with the different for Future's voice, which I kind of was talking about before, he has that very low register voice that doesn't seem to vary as much of that, but he's got these like hypnotic just verses, choruses, hooks all throughout it that mixed with Metro Boomin's like this ethereal synth work and strings, and it make it very just hypnotizing, honestly, that like honestly I thought that worked pretty well with that. But then we'll talk about one of the final things on here, and then we'll talk about now the Kendrick Lamar feature on what was it? It was Like That, which was just blowing up everywhere because I mean, a lot of people didn't know that he was gonna be on that. I didn't know that. And he blew it out of the water with it, and it's going everywhere because of his calling out of Drake and J. Cole, which hitting us with the lines of like, fuck the big three, it's just big me, which goes so hard, and I could spend 5 minutes just dissecting the lyrics he used on there. There are better videos out there that talk about that go into it, the intricacies that I wouldn't even think of. But he references like For All the Dogs on there, where he literally says it. He just references all these things. First Person Shooter, which is a song that had Drake and J. Cole on it, where J. Cole kind of dropped like the big three line on it. And this is interesting. This is like kind of getting me excited for like rap music going in the future, just because it felt very not stale, because we have had some really good rap albums and there's a lot of great rappers out there, so I can't say as a collective, but there wasn't any real like mainstream beefs going on, and especially for like the big three of that, where like the only real one I can think about involving any of them as of right now, other than like these kind of, we knew Drake and Kendrick obviously beefed, but it was at like kind of a Cold War standpoint you could put at it, but it was Drake and Metro Boomin, and the ball is now in their court after this, and I thought that was that's probably my favorite song there. I really liked that. And then for a second favorite song, I'll say it was GTA, which I think has like really good trap production on it. Like, it's extraordinary. Like, I like the trap production on that better than on Like That. But those are the two like real highlights. Claustrophobic had some pretty funny lines on there, as I said before. Cinderella wasn't bad, but I kind of forgot about it, to be honest. Just I don't know. It's a pretty good album. Like, it's definitely above what I think you would expect from that. And it definitely uses its runtime it has, which almost cracks at, I believe, an hour, which isn't bad, especially with, I believe, 19 tracks on that. But I think overall, despite all of its good things I've said before, it's just like that like quiet and tiresome flow and energy on certain parts of it, and the continuous, like, it doesn't really switch up outside of production on basically all the songs on it, so it does kind of get a bit repetitive. You feel like you kind of get the point of everything after the first half of it, and the replay value besides some of the songs on there just isn't there. So I'm really feeling like I'm giving this. Can I give this album a 7.5? I think it was really good, way above average, but it's just some of that stuff on there that like I think a good amount of songs will be in my rotation for a bit, but just I can't get much more than that. But that's what I thought about this album. Let me know what you think about. Apparently they're going to be working on a second one, which I am excited for. I'm curious what they'll do with that. I'm hoping it can at least match this album or do better. Because, I do like Metro Boomin. I think Future is pretty good as well. I think they work very well together, like better than on their own. So I'm curious to see what happens with that. Could be interesting. Just be interesting to see what else they can do with that. If anything will get continued from that, but that's really all I gotta say. That's it for me today. Bye.